Gotta scoot up for this one because this is the number one. This is actually my favorite all-time conspiracy theory. I want to just get right into it right now, but before we start, I have to protect myself because since these are conspiracy theories, I have to have safety first. Always have to be safe. Alright, ready to go? So number 10 is the government is tracking us using Pokemon Go. Remember the video game that was hugely popular? I don't even know if people are still playing it, but the government was using that game. You're looking for your favorite Pikachu, Bulbasaur, I don't know many about, Charizard, I know that one. They're tracking your movement while you're playing the game. Now, why would they be doing that? Because your cell phone alone already tracks you, your car tracks you, your phone, your Apple Watch, computer has your webcam, they can see that anyway. So I don't know exactly why they would use Pokemon Go as the game, but I will say this. Out of all the ones I'm going to talk about, this one seems the most plausible. Obvious stuff, GPS. I don't know why that would be used or anything like that, but this is a plausible one. Very, very, very weird, silly one, but I will give it to him. Number 9, this is a weird one only because it actually involves me. That Finland does not exist. The country Finland just doesn't exist. So the theory states that Russia and Sweden both are conspiring to say that this country does not exist so that Japan could keep up the fishing rights in this made-up country, and then the fish are transported to Russia. And then the second part of the theory is that the UN, United Nations, actually have maps altered to make it seem like Finland actually does exist. So that means all these photos here you see of me in Finland, I'm somehow in some sort of made-up fairyland that doesn't exist. I have no idea. This one is hilariously, just because I think it's so funny because I've actually gone to Finland multiple times. Yeah, Finland does not exist. Alright, if you are a history buff like myself, you might like this one. Number 8 is Nazi UFO bunkers. So the theory starts with Hitler obviously had to fake his own death. Then, of course, he took a submarine to Antarctica where they had these bunkers built with a bunch of UFOs. You with me? So he gets these bunkers, and then the theory states that he was going to use all these UFOs to take over the world again, or continue taking over the world. Now, when I read this one, I honestly don't even know how that one could possibly even, that's creative. That was a creative one. So number 7 is that the Denver International Airport is the hub of an underground military base. So this one's kind of interesting because I've gone through Denver International Airport and I've seen what they're referencing with the weird tunnels and the symbols and the writing and the murals, all pointing to the New World Order. I remember being there and somebody actually mentioning this to me while I was there. There's the theory that $2 billion went unaccounted for. They can't find out where that $2 billion went when constructing this. I do also remember that they constructed or redid this entire airport, but nothing was redone. I don't know what to believe on this one. Obviously, I don't think there's some sort of underground military base trying to take over the government and the world and everything like that. But I thought it was a very interesting one since, like the last one, I was actually in that place before. Number 6 has to deal with one of my all-time favorite movies, Back to the Future. The first one, not the second, not the third. Second, it's right there. It's number 2. That the theory states the Twin Pines mall itself, the logo, and the time on the actual clock in the movie all point to predicting the 9/11 terror attacks, and that there are scenes in the movie that mirror the actual JFK assassination. This one I don't get because I don't remember anything mirroring JFK's assassination in the movie. I might be completely wrong. There might be some sort of merit to this theory. I doubt it. But I also don't understand the clock part of the I don't know why am I trying to debunk this theory. It's just I wanted to present this one. By the way, Back to the Future 1, the best one. Number 5, being a musician, this is actually kind of, I've never actually heard of this one. The Beatles never existed. People have looked at photos of each band member and noticed that photos don't always look alike. Like the facial features don't match up to every photo. Okay, that's already weird. And here's the fun part. They all died at different times and they're all replaced by clones. Number 4 actually is another one that's near and dear to my heart, that the moon doesn't exist. As you can probably know if you know me, I have tattoos of space all over my arm, so obviously I'm a space guy. This theory states that the moon doesn't exist, the moon landing doesn't exist, never happened. Okay, I remember getting in an argument with somebody saying something along those lines, or like, oh, the moon doesn't exist, NASA's just faking it with like kind of like Finland. This is what I always counter with. Okay, let's say the moon landing was fake. Let's just give them that, okay? Let's just give them a bone. How would they have been able to do that? Think about it. How many people would have to have kept their mouths shut for this long to keep up with this whole lie? I mean, think about it. Like, you know, the NSA getting caught. There's so many other things, you know, social media, UFOs being caught on Air Force bases and jets and stuff. How would NASA and everyone involved be able to keep this a secret? This one's just baffling. I love it because I think it's so crazy. The theory is, to back it up, is that essentially the moon doesn't exist because something that big close to Earth can't be there because it would just crash into Earth. Yep, number 4, the moon does not exist. You heard it here. Number 3, top 3, I wish I could keep going, but this one was kind of interesting because it's basically talking about, was it the actual Titanic that sank? And the theory states that it was deliberately sunk because there were 3 passengers that were opposing the Federal Reserve. So they thought that sinking the ship, okay, let me back up because this is where it gets kind of interesting. So there's another ship called the Olympic, made by the same company around the same time, almost identical, and that actually was in an accident prior to the Titanic, and they were actually sued. The company, White Star, was actually sued. So what they did was they faked this whole thing with the Titanic, they switched it out with the Olympic, and then they sunk that thing for the insurance money to pay off the lawsuit. If you Google photos, they do look the same, but the ultimate theory is kind of ridiculous. Number 2 is kind of a good one, that dinosaurs helped build the ancient pyramids. The reason why this is a theory or a conspiracy or whatever you want to call it is because they've actually uncovered giant stone tablets that depict creatures, giant creatures carrying boulders to where they need to be. I don't necessarily believe in that. I would like to believe in it because it's so cool. Everyone wants to know how the pyramids were actually built because it's actually incredibly fascinating. But to think of, I always think of the Flintstones, you know, like Fred Flintstone is using a dinosaur to do his thing, and then he runs into his pedaling, like RV, pedaling car. So I don't know the merit to this one, but it's a very clever one. What do you guys think? Dinosaurs, did they build the pyramids in ancient structures? You know, are they riding a Velociraptor or a T-Rex and just going like this with a cowboy hat? Just wanted to throw that one in there just because I thought that was a very interesting conspiracy theory. So I want to do a couple honorable mentions before I get to number 1. The first one is that apparently Jewish people, as people in a whole, are using special lasers in space to cause forest fires in order to push people to certain places to take over the world. A lot of you guys remember this as a trend on the internet, the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. You guys participate in that? Apparently, you're satanic worshipers now. Theory says that it's basically baptizing you in the name of Satan. And that people like Bill Gates, Lady Gaga, Beyonce, all these people, Bill Gates, man, there's so many conspiracies with him. That's a whole nother thing. But apparently the Ice Bucket Challenge was a way to baptize you in the name of Satan. Another one that you guys sent was the NASA Blue Beam Theory. This one, before I get into it, it's actually kind of a very well thought out, complicated one. Kind of comes in stages. First one is that NASA is going to create all these earthquakes, engineer earthquakes, natural disasters, floods, tidal waves, everything like that, in order to create this holographic beam in the sky, which is going to be used to essentially create the New World Order religion by Antichrist. I don't even know. I have to say, even though it's not in the top 10 for me, I just thought it was so fascinating that one of you guys actually sent it. I've never heard of this one ever. So thank you for sending it to me. The idea is that the government, probably NASA, all these people apparently are using radio control to essentially manipulate sharks as an RC car, essentially to go next to like ships, enemy ships, to spy on them undetected. Therefore, people have a conspiracy theory that these governments are going to eventually use this technology that apparently exists on human beings in order to make us do what they want. Thinking about it, actually, not the shark part, but it's kind of interesting because with the advent of different technologies, inadvertently, we kind of are doing that. This isn't a conspiracy theory, I'm not starting another one, but the shark thing, ridiculous. Or is it? Gotta scoot up for this one because this is the number one. This is actually my favorite all-time conspiracy theory. Love this one so much that I want to have a t-shirt of it. Basically, the world is flat. It's a flat earth theory. So the conspiracy comes from the idea that the world, Earth, is not a sphere. It's a flat surface. So let's say, you know, when they say flying around the world, they're not necessarily flying around the world, they're just flying in circumference of the north or south pole or something along those lines. There's documentaries about this and it's so fascinating. So that is it, guys. I can probably take this off now. That is the top 10 conspiracy theories that you guys have sent me. I don't know where to start. I know there's I think it's the unified grand theory, conspiracy theory. Essentially, it's the conspiracy that all conspiracies are a conspiracy to create a conspiracy. I don't want to get into that one because that makes me dive too deep, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I'll just say number one is flat earth theory. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Please tell me in the comments below what your favorite one, and if you guys have another one, I would love to read it in the comments. So write them out if you have them. Thank you guys so much who follow us on Instagram and gave all these ideas and these theories and brought a lot to my attention that I didn't even know. It means a lot. If you guys aren't following, links down there in the description. We'll see you in the next video. Maybe I was a hologram the whole time. Bye guys.